a drink.
Well, maybe not.
Hello, and welcome to another Generic Paranormal Show. I'm your host, KD, and this is my co-host, Austin.
What's going on, everybody?
That was a
I'm
better.
not an Irishman. Is that
That was-
Irish? Is that what that is?
Damn, is that what it sounded like? It was supposed to be Australian. Hello, mate. Hello.
I feel like it's hard
kind
to
of cockney.
Okay, you know how difficult I feel like it is
Hello,
to distinguish between Australian accent, Scottish accent, and Cockney English accent.
Well, Irish is it? The Irish people always
Or
say
Irish.
things. They make statements that sound like a question.
There are, they always have
They have
certain
that upward
inflections where you can
inflection at the end.
tell. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can separate them, but it's just very funny. They all kind of sound very similar.
yeah. Let me get the
Maybe
context.
that's just
What's up?
maybe I'm racist. I don't know. I'm not.
Maybe in the house. All right, so
Don't know
tonight
people.
we are going to have here in a few minutes. We're going to have a special guest on who is you can sit around and listen to Austin and myself like recklessly speculate and navigate the gigantic potholes in our brains to bring you like a steady stream of logical information that's mostly true. But you can listen to people who are actual like experts in I would say Ron Iacovetti, from what you've told me, right? I think he would say I would say that he's not only an ITC experimenter worker, but he is kind of a the expert on the history of ITC between him and Mark Macy, right?
No, well, the thing with Ron is that Ron is very well versed in the idea of the stone tape theory. And the thing, well, like, and Ron has actually published a couple of articles on academia.edu, and they were in the top. So many.
He was like he knew everything about like Mark Macy and all
Oh
that
yeah,
too.
he knows a lot about Mark Macy,
Well, I mean,
Bocce.
there you go. He's kind of he's very well
He's
versed in the
direct
history
radio
of
voice, all that stuff. Yeah, Ron is very well versed in all of this. You might as well bring him on because the man
well, I
is
mean, I would
extremely
if he was here,
educated.
if he's
Oh, he's not here yet.
him
Oh,
in
that's all right.
the lobby.
Oh yeah, he said they were running a little
Oh,
bit.
That's fine. We can sit here and bull crap. We were jamming out on some Ronnie Radke, a little bit of watch
All
the
in reverse.
on in reverse there, yeah. And then we were listening to "God's Gonna Cut You Down" by Johnny Cash, which is one of my favorite songs that he's ever done, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
How many musicians lived to be like as old as he was? And I think June died, and then he made that album where it's like a bunch of cover songs, right? It's the American 500 Highways. I think that's the name of it. Oh no, American. It was the American series of albums, right? I think you had American 1 through 5. Anyway,
Huh?
there were a bunch of cover songs mostly, and even Trent Reznor said the song, "Hurt." I hurt myself today. He said, when I heard that song, he said, I've never had this feeling before, and I didn't know how to feel about it, but right then I realized that song was no longer mine anymore. And it's like, damn, bro, yeah, like he straight up like Johnny Cash was the man, dude.
Johnny Cash is unmatched, legendary.
Yes, legendary. And he had such a range, dude. And he could take something like cuz I didn't like Hurt when 9 Inch Nails did it, I don't
Yeah.
I like Nine Inch Nails. I like a handful of their songs. I do not like all their songs. You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
don't.
It's kind of
Yeah.
like Euro trash. A lot of it is. It's kind of like Euro crap, Euro trash crap. You know,
Oh,
it's like a
okay.
yeah. And nowadays he's what's up, Tim Lovejoy and Tower Paranormal Investigations and
Yeah.
got Tower Investigations on here on YouTube and on Facebook as well. Thank you for those that split that up, getting views on all of them there.
Yo, so
Excuse
what's
me,
up with
I,
these?
I have this habit of like snorting because my sinuses are plugged. So I'm gonna make a weird noise every once in a while, and I can't help it. I can't help it. I've blown my nose. I've done everything. You know, I don't know.
I'm fucking with you.
I mean, I sound very nasally anyway, but
Nasally.
I sound very nasally. But anyway,
Fucking
KD, the screen format isn't showing both your handsome faces. Well, it would. Wait, because you're looking at if you turn your phone to the side, it will PAL in the landscape mode. It should.
we should in both.
Yeah, it should be in both. Try that, Cam, and let me know if that works for you there. I think Facebook won't let you do it. It'll only let you stream in one or the other. I can't remember though for sure. But
Well, shit, could you stream it in one on Supernatural Inc. and the other on PTF or something?
yeah, I think I'm
We
doing
could do that.
I think I'm actually doing that. I have it kind of split
Oh,
up a little bit there. Yeah, yeah. Let's watch some videos to get started out, and let's just talk
let's
some
do it.
about some fake AI ghost hunting videos. All right, so
Have you seen those commercials for that one company that's doing events that's selling equipment also? And they have these AI videos of like these different people that are talking about how cool the devices are. But like one of them is like of course, a mixed race elderly couple talking about, oh, spirit boxes from our time just didn't have the functions now. It's I don't know. It's just kind of funny because it's just so unrealistic.
right, yeah.
You could tell that they're AI generated people that are not even like they're just saying some generic shit that I don't
Right.
know. It's disappointing to see when it comes to the paranormal community and the paranormal field in general. Like that's the kind of shit that we really don't need. Is just that
Well, that's why I say
commercialized
we have to
base
be
marketing.
yeah, we have to be careful about how much we let AI. Oh, there they are. Okay, we can get rid of this down here. All right, so our guests have joined us, and we are going to bring them on the screen.
Legends.
Hello, let me fix y'all's camera so it'll be wider. I have ours
You're
set up.
muted.
They
I
are
think your
muted.
mic is muted. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's you guys or him. There it is.
Yeah, it was sorry about that. Yeah, we're not thin enough to fit in a box like this.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. I'm gonna take care of that
Well, you
right.
see how much of my box I take up? I mean, is that
You're iconic.
Yeah, that's because you're a legend. So you take
you're
up
a
a lot.
legend? You guys are the legends here. You're the one that has published white papers, right?
He does.
Yeah. Who's the scientist and genius over here?
Not me.
So,
Not me.
all right, here we go.
How many? You got 2 papers published, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would more comfortably say the one because that was the one that got the traction on academia.
Oh,
Was
this. Yeah, why don't you explain a little bit of like what you guys specifically focus? I tried to like give a little explanation about your understanding of like
There it is.
BRV and the history, like with Mark Macy and Bocce and some of these other videos. I wanted you to possibly give a better background.
Yeah, because me and Austin, we
recklessly speculate.
reckless speculation. That's what we specialize in. So yeah, we know a lot of bits and pieces of things, but the giant brain wormholes prevent us from piecing it all together properly. So we rely on people like you. So
we can
fill
see
us
the
in.
cell phone screen on the one side and the regular one on the other side.
Yeah,
I've
that's
never-
for people who want to watch, who are just scrolling through their,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I was
I never
weirded out
saw
by
it.
it.
Yeah,
I never saw it on the show. Like when you're a guest, I never saw it that way.
different dimension.
Oh, really? Well, yeah, they
Maybe
keep
it's just
changing
him.
stuff on StreamYard. StreamYard's they're
It's just,
keeping
it's just him.
who me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Just
the only
you.
one. I'm the only one in the world doing it.
Yep. So
Maybe,
give
yeah.
us your background and explain what you all do.
All right. Well, you know what? I want to say something first. All the jokes about legends and whatever else aside, this is the first time we've actually had to have had the opportunity to have a conversation with KD, and we were excited about that. He is one of the people that we have looked up to and admired the brilliance and work of, but never had the chance to talk to. So for us, I would like to, before I start out saying anything about who I am or who we are, I kind of want to start with that, because Austin we love, and Austin's been impressing us for a long time as a human being. First and foremost, he's just a good guy, and then the work he does is exceptional.
He's okay.
But for us, this was a big deal. We were actually very excited to be able to talk to both of you, especially for the first time with KD.
I'm equally, the feeling's mutual, because every time me and Austin are recklessly speculating, doing our thing, he's like, Ron would know this, and I'm like, well, dadgummit, man, I want to talk to Ron so bad, and I have so many questions, about it, and apparently you are the go-to guy, and so I've really been looking forward to talking to y'all as well.
It's
humbling.
It's humbling, yeah. Like, she knows it's hard to get me to shut up. I'm kind of chatty, but that did it.
Well, I feel like there's people who have been around. You've been in the scene since the scene kind of started, right? And well, not since it started. Okay, you weren't around in the '70s when they were doing the first EVPs, but modern ITC wise, you guys have been in the thick of it, right? You've been. Y'all know Holte and everybody. Yeah, I love Holte. Steve's a good friend of mine, and Austin too. And yeah. You guys are all old school OGs. I consider
that's what inspired him, especially because seeing you guys and the great work that you guys do, and he can't build the kind of stuff that you guys do. So he took a different route.
I'm in awe of that. If I tried to build things like KD builds, my neighbors would have pacemakers going off sync and garage doors going up.
Man, there'd be fire department showing up every other day.
Yeah, it wouldn't be crazy.
That's some high voltage shit. You'd be like looking at Mad Mike Markham or something. Like, I mean, I'm surprised KD hasn't gotten to that point yet, to be honest with you.
Well, if I did, I wouldn't tell anybody, because he went to
you just be
jail
gone
for stealing those transformers that he
but
needed.
He got out.
He did.
And then he got released after serving his time, and then he got out and kept working on the shit. And then some.
That's what he says.
He just disappeared. He just everybody just want to stop hearing from him.
I don't know.
He teleported, man. I'm telling you.
I don't know. Yeah, he probably got high on some PCP and teleported.
Hey, you know what? I believe Art Bell before I believe your ass. So.
Art Bell didn't say that.
Art Bell went out and looked for him. Actually,
he did have people looking for him, but Art Bell never actually come out and said he teleport. Also, Art Bell was a master of entertainment too. He was a golden voice on the radio. He knew how to keep his audience locked in, and that's how you do it. Is he knew the game. But anyway, Madman Markham, I think he did some cool stuff. I've looked at his drawings, but I do not believe I've actually there's a lot more sides to the story, right, than just because there's police reports where he got picked up in walking through a cornfield. But anyway, we're here to talk about. We're here to let Ron and Lords tell us their knowledge.
This is fun. I actually had a few years back before she and I met. I think it was somewhere around 1988, 98 or 99. I had a phone call with Art Bell called me. I submitted something I was working on a screenplay, which I almost sold at the time, which is why I moved to LA from 2000 to 2014. And I submitted something about what I was basing it on. And some of it had to do with like ancient research stuff, ancient Egypt stuff, ancient civilization stuff. I don't know if you remember the Egyptologist who he was independent, and so a lot of times the academia folks wouldn't let him speak at the pulpit or podium because he didn't have a PhD, but he was doing the work on the water erosion on the Sphinx, John Anthony West.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm familiar with
I
him.
used to talk to him a lot. He had me at his place up in upstate New York for lunch, and then when I moved out to LA shortly after that, and somewhere in the early 2000s, he came out for something, and he came to my apartment, and then we had lunch again and got together. He was enamored with the fact that I had been a satirist and done stand-up and had done comedy. I went, I'm telling dick jokes. You're changing history. I don't think I'm the most interesting person at the table, sir.
No,
Well,
I mean, that's
your,
hold on.
That's your thing that gets you, makes people listen to you, right?
Can I
secret
make
power?
I do want to make a statement here, though. Ron Iacovetti is the most interesting man in the world.
Oh.
I've said
He's
this
done a
before.
lot of
I'll say
stuff.
it again.
Yeah.
Tell
Does not
Ron.
surprise me at
Okay.
all.
Not only was he a comedian. Okay, Ron. Tell the audience your extensive list of unique occupations.
I'm a jack of all asses. It's funny, if I'm the most interesting man in the world, it reminds me of that Disney song, "It's a Small World," after all. Because that's the only way it really makes sense. I did comedy writing and stand up for a while. I wrote and segment produced for a few shows, one of which was on the Travel Channel called Made in America.
Okay.
I did broadcasting and commentating for boxing and mixed martial arts for a number of years. I'm basically Joe Rogan without the budget.
Cool.
Even did bodybuilding.
I did bodybuilding.
Posing. He did
I used
posing.
to power
Music and
lift.
everything.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. I took
That's cool. I was
American
trained by an
kickboxing in
Olympic
high school.
powerlifter.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman named Anthony DeTillo who wrote for Iron Man magazine back in the day when there were no posing pictures. It was just
I
content.
didn't do it professionally. I did it when I was in the army. I was just trying to be scary. I was trying to like get so like abnormally huge that I would scare children as I walked by. That was my goal.
I did it to be taller, and it didn't work out.
Damn, it didn't work. I tried it too, but yeah,
didn't work out,
unfortunately.
So yeah, I always say that fear has many eyes, and I've looked in a few of them because paranormal stuff, working with professional fighters, and then one of the biggest fears people have, psychologically speaking, is public speaking. So I've done.
Yep, that is a big one actually. That's a huge one.
Yeah.
For me, one of my fears. Well, it wasn't always, but at a certain point in my life, I developed a fear of being surrounded by a lot of people in large crowds.
Mm-hmm. I have that.
I hate to get back. We gotta get back to Ron and Lourdes's background, and you keep getting distracted from that.
It's great though. This is cool.
This is a background. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I know, but okay. Anyways, continue.
So, what was it you wanted to?
We
just want to know like
expertise.
How you got
into it all.
How did you get into ITC? What was the first thing that flipped the switch in your brain and said, this is I think there's really something to this, and really that thing that made you really pursue that and focus? Because I say everybody in the paranormal should have a focus, should have a specialty or a area of expertise, and for like me it's ITC, and for you obviously it was ITC also. So how did you decide to make that your area expertise? Did it decide for you, or what happened to make that your thing?
There's a little bit of all that. I think it's similar to her backstory. Probably the only similarity to our backstories. I was fascinated with EVP stuff when I saw people recording voices out of thin air. I thought that was amazing. But my first foray into experiencing ITC was at the Glen Tavern Inn in Santa Paula, California. This is close to 2012 or so, 13 maybe. And I was with a group of people. I was with someone I was seeing at the time because we met in 2016. So this goes back a little bit. And they were doing a spirit box session, SB7, on the 3rd floor of the hotel. And it was like 30 people, and everybody introduced who they were. And then it got to the last 2 people, and the last one was Chad Lindbergh, who from Fast and Furious, and people know him from that show that he did with John L. Tenney, which I can never remember the name of.
Ghost Stalkers.
It was Ghost
Stalkers. Yep.
Ghost Stalkers. Try to remember that. Yeah, there's no way that my dusty brain is going to hold on to that.
I'll try to remember.
I usually can't remember it either, but I did.
That's the only reason I know is because it was Nick's show.
So from that, he was the last one. Everybody did an introduction. Hi, my name is whatever, 30 people. And it gets down to him, and he goes, hi, I'm Chad. 20-something seconds, give or take. And a voice came out of the SB7 where you didn't hear the sweep anymore, and it went, I know Chad. And I was like, what just happened? And how many people do I need to knock off to be able to do that? Because that's amazing. I didn't know that there was real-time stuff being looked into, researched, experimented with, even possible. And when I saw that, I went, I need to get me one of the little doohickeys. And that's probably what I called it at the time, because that was as technical as I would have gotten.
Doohickey or thingamabob.
Yep. And I was hooked. I was like, wow, this is incredible. And that's what started it.
Yeah.
We ended up doing what we're doing now because of what I would say would be an ineptness on my part. I don't weld and build. What you guys do, in all honesty, all jokes aside, I'm enamored and in high admiration of, because I can't do that. If I soldered regularly, I would be high-fiving people with fewer fingers. So I don't. Right.
Like your high school shop teacher. Be careful with the shop saw. Be careful with the circular saw.
Yeah.
Let me teach you a lesson. There's 5 things you want to remember.
Yes, that. And then I loved what ITC stuff seemed to be, and so I started looking into different stuff, and I came across the works of Marcello Bacci in Grosseto, Italy, and then I came across Dr. Annabella Cardoso's stuff, and she had sat with Bacci, Friedrich Jurgensen, Konstantin Radove, the Foys from the Skull Experiment. So she is the last surviving person from the original guard of EVP and ITC researchers. All those people are otherwise gone.
What did you call it? The guard of EVP and ITC researchers?
The old guard, the original guard. Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
She's the only one left, and she was very approachable. I'd read her books, and excuse me, and I corresponded with her, and we became more and more friendly. And she mentored me into direct radio voice, which was just using a vacant.
Bacci was kind of the first
vacant AM short medium wave channel, no sweeping, nothing. It was just that. Mm-hmm. And I was enamored at the efficacy of the method. I never saw anything like it.
Now, here my take last time me and Austin talked about that was that that is not necessarily the device has been designed to do this thing. It's your psychic link. We'll talk about that later too, but your psychic ability, there's a psychic ability to use electronics to communicate with the other side, and also all sides, not just the dead, but
right.
Other types of beings out there as well, I believe. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, that was floated around at the time, and I know Bacci almost emphatically denied having any level of mediumship, but from a metaphysical perspective,
seems like that's the only possible thing.
Right.
Though,
right?
Yeah.
He's part of the equation.
Right. From a metaphysical perspective, it's not, when it gets called a gift and an ability, sometimes it's almost a misnomer, and it makes people think that it is some kind of a rare inherited thing. And it's by design. I think by design, it is part of the human condition. And some people, like, you can learn to sing, but some people naturally are able to do those functions autonomously.
Good analogy. That's very.
So he may have had more of a natural ability that he wasn't aware of. I do think he was part of it.
Yeah.
When they took tubes out of his radio, they unplugged it. He still got voices unless they removed him from it.
Yes. Yep.
So I think he was part of the process. I wouldn't call him the medium in that necessarily, because I think that the voices were coming out of the box.
The link. He was the link. The medium would have been the radio. That would
right.
be like the painter's paint.
Yes.
And
he's definitely part of the equation. Definitely.
Right. You can't have a dance without a dancer. So he was part of what was going on for sure.
Yeah.
So that stuff hooked me. And then through Dr. Cardoso, I started doing DRV, and we just bought this world band boombox thing. She used to call me the LL Cool J of ITC, because I had this big boombox that had long wave and everything on it. And then we came across a gentleman named Keith Clark from Paranormal.com. He introduced us to the software component for a virtual studio to do everything people do with audio capture and review at the moment of contact, to filter, to denoise and amplify, and what had never been done before in ITC to our knowledge, and what we instituted or employed the use of, was slowing down the flow of the white noise.
Yes.
And that was staggering for us, because, and this is why it's important to know who those pioneers and people are, because we're standing on their shoulders.
Oh yeah, we're definitely
Konstantin Radove said that these voices come in not only faster than we can detect them, but they come in faster than the human vocal tract is capable of speaking.
Yeah, and I believe not only faster, and I think it depends on the type of being you're talking to as to what medium you're able to talk to them through. And when I say medium, what type of electronic device or whatever type of device, or are you just psychically, or your psychic medium speaking to them that way? But I think that you can, I think different types of, like shortwave, I believe different types of supernatural beings are more have a better ability to communicate through shortwave radio, the shortwave band, right? And then some beings have a better ability to communicate through the FM and then the AM, and then there's some things that talk in reverse, or when they speak, and it could be because of our different dimensions, like time being a dimension, and wherever these things are, they exist outside of our standard 4 dimensions, time being the 4th one. And I think that those things get mixed up, and so sometimes their voice could come through reversed, and then or it's really hard to break it down and just say it right off the cuff. I need like a chart to like chart all this shit out, But I think you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, so how did you guys start doing the digital seance project, or the digital seance experience? My apologies.
I love that too, by the way. I've been copying that.
Why don't you kind of give us a little bit of background on that, and how how you guys work together with that and do that together?
You want to run with?
Well, when we started doing the direct radio voice, we were invited to go to the Sterling Mine. And so we went to the Sterling Mine and with the direct radio voice, and we went deep inside the mine and we got voices. So we figured out, he was saying, we don't need a radio because we're getting it. So we came out together with a white noise generator. So then that's why we started using the white noise generator, and slowing down the white noise, we're able to get voices that we otherwise would miss because they're coming in too fast. And we still get fast voices through that, but that's how we wound up not using the radio and switching to the white noise generators.
Yeah, and the seance part of it came in. My 3rd of 5 books is called the Digital Seance Initiative, and we did that because we were doing public events, and a lot of times we were either like the halftime show, so to speak. I know that's very touchy 2 words to use right now, but I'm using it.
It's not like the last one sucked terribly or anything. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, or we were the closing thing at the end of the night, and so they would put us in a common area that was able to accommodate everybody that came to the investigation, 20, 30 people. And the common area was also where the snacks and drinks were. So we'd be doing sessions, and people were popping soda cans and opening bags of Cheetos. Or I'm not sure I'm hearing anything. You think?
Yeah.
Maybe give gluttony a break for a minute.
Right. Go take your snack break on the porch. Yeah, no, I did the
So
same. I started doing the digital seance the same way, is so that people could, when you have a group of people, you can get everybody involved, and and that also goes back to the psychic aspect of this of electronic. Uh, I hate to say ghost communication because it's not. Okay, I'll say
Phenomenon.
ghost. I'll say ghost communication because ghost is
yeah,
a filler word for
yeah.
some shit that I don't know what it is.
Lack of a
But
better
it
term.
seems like it's there.
It's
So
the
I'm gonna call
colloquial
everything a
sense of the word.
ghost. Everything's a
Yeah,
ghost. Just because I don't know what the hell it is, kind of like dark matter is dark matter because we don't exactly know what the hell it is. So
right, right. Never
so
measured. It was found through inference. Exactly.
yeah.
Yep.
So and no, Austin, we're not getting into that tonight. No, absolutely not.
Austin. Yeah,
Uh,
that's
I mean, we
it-
say spirit communication because I think everything has a spirit,
yeah.
whether
yeah, sure, yeah, yeah,
We're
yeah.
bound by
Yeah.
language
Easily
to call it
recognizable.
something. Yeah,
But have you
exactly.
guys
Yeah.
noticed that, like, so, like, with the Spiritcom, right? Okay, so what's your opinion of the Spiritcom and the video with Bill O'Neill?
It's so it's so hard to tell. So one of the things, and we can get into this, I guess, or whatever at some point. We come from a different metaphysical perspective, which we can explain. But one of the things we try not to do, both in making claims and both in denying or assessing claims of others, is speak to something that we don't have enough of an ability to support. And a lot of people are like that. I don't think even knowingly so, right? Like if you have a bunch of things theoretically that you believe or might be going on, you speak to them. But if you introduce into that conversation something that you don't really have enough support for, then that kind of takes down your position overall. So a lot of times we'll sometimes again unknowingly steer away from things like that. So I don't like to judge with definitiveness and say that I know it was a hoax or I know it was legit because I don't.
Right, right, yeah, that's about where we're at. But we also, well, I also lean towards, if like they should have known that this was going to be highly scrutinized and picked through, and they should have had different camera angles. They should have had just lots of things should have been done differently.
Yeah.
get rid of the low hanging fruit. Yeah.
Yeah, get rid of the things that they're immediately going to say. Well, yeah, well, it is what it is. They could add a clock up. There's
Yeah.
lots of things they could have done to. Now, see, I'm not here to the work that I do, the ITC work that I do. I'm not here like Zach Baggins trying to prove to the world that ghosts are real, or I'm not trying to prove to science that ghosts are real, or that I can speak to them through. I
Right.
feel like I have a calling, and from a higher calling. I'm a Christian, but I don't believe like a lot of Christians do, the dogmatic type, that we're not allowed to talk to things. And I think that some of us have that calling. We are supposed to know about the things that are taboo or that are not supposed to be known by the average person, right? But Jesus
Yeah.
even taught his apostles that they had secret knowledge, and this, that, and the other. Anyway, so like I believe that I just do my work and I show it and I document what I do, and I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody.
No, that's
Well,
the way to do it, man.
we
Yeah.
believe that the paranormal is normal because I grew up with it. My family practiced espiritismo. It was a normal thing for me all my life. It was not anything, you know, the paranormal really became paranormal when I met him. Because to me, it was just a normal thing. It's
Right,
something
right. Wait, so
that
where
happened.
are you from again?
I was born in Brooklyn, but my parents are from Puerto Rico.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So I've had a lot of Puerto Rican friends in the army, and oh boy, yeah, that's like a given to them. Like
Yeah.
spirits are real. Like
Mhm.
if
Yeah.
you say I'll go say real, they look at you like well,
And
sure.
well, it really depends on who you
Cállate la
talk to.
boca. Yeah, yeah.
Because
Maricon.
it really depends on who you speak to. You'll have some that are like me and the ones you're talking about that they believe in, and then you have the ones that say you're speaking to demons,
Well,
But
and I
in
do,
my
and I
family,
do think I think that I think that's a possibility also. I think we can speak to demons, we can speak to angels, we can speak to whatever you want to call an interdimensional being, like a being from a different plane of existence or a different reality, not necessarily from like the
Yeah, but
fourth
they forbid it. They think everything is demon, and you're not
Yeah,
supposed to.
sure, right,
You
right,
find it
yeah,
in the
yeah,
Puerto
yeah,
Rican
yeah.
culture too.
Right, but King Solomon did it. King Solomon built the entire temple by using demons. He enslaved them and had them build the temple. So,
I would argue that that's more Catholicism and
no, it's not Catholicism.
Judaism than it
That
is
is not Catholicism.
Christianity.
No.
Because I know, like, Jehovah's
if
Witnesses
anything
believe
is more
everything is
Jewish,
demons.
it would be more Judaic than Catholic, because the Jews have the Ars Goetia, I believe, that was written. It's like it's a book that like lists out all the 72 princes or demonic princes, right? And it lays out their hierarchy and their structure and who's king. They have kings and princes, and each prince has this many. But that's also well, it's Enoch, right?
Yeah.
Enoch,
I didn't think
I find to
Christians
be
didn't believe in demons.
do what?
What did you think I said?
Oh, I don't know. It seems like you were saying that was more of a Catholic thing that King Solomon had.
No, I'm saying when you said like people like those people that say everything is demons, there's no other things besides just demons that we're talking to. Like that's more of
the Baptists also.
Yeah, I mean those are Catholics, like Jehovah's Witnesses, like those.
You find them in all religions.
It's almost like a fundamentalist type of view.
Well, it's very common through any Christian denomination. Most of them kind of shun or they look down on attempting to communicate with what they would call spirits.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's kind of culturally new in the span of the history of time, probably like a blink of an eye, is our culture has gotten so immersed in literalism, like things being literally true.
Yeah. Yeah,
so they use that to dismiss or discredit things that are from religious backgrounds and from like biblical texts. Those things are not to be taken literally; they're to be taken seriously. There is meaning
and contextually also
support their agendas.
There's meaning.
Yeah, there's context. Everything has context, and in my opinion, you can't even just read the Bible, like the Holy Bible itself, and think you have the entire context, because you don't. There's so many other religious writings that weren't included, and for this reason or that reason or whatever. And speaking of like, we've been communicating with our past on ancestors and spirits and all other means of supernatural beings since the dawn of man, right? Since the first dude walked past a piece of volcanic glass and saw a twisted image in it and said, "Oh, and then that's kind of how they started. Well, that's where scrying began. I mean, some
dudes picking up volcanic glass and saying, "Oh,
yeah, oh, what the hell is that? What the hell is that?
No use crying over spilled milk."
I didn't know that's how it happened. I appreciate the history lesson there.
Yeah, you didn't know that? That's exactly how it happened.
The other thing that's important that you mentioned before too about proving ghosts are real and all that stuff, proving it to science, that is another big trap that the paranormal field seems to get stuck in. Science doesn't prove, math proves. Science can't prove something as an ineffable truth, because if they did, then they would not be able to reserve the right to update with new discovery, new information, revisit theory, and revise for new information. Right. So it can't. There are things in nature that are reliable that we call laws that you can count on, but it doesn't prove
the paranormal. I don't want to say the paranormal. The supernatural doesn't adhere to our idea of physics, in my opinion. I think we can detect when supernatural things happen or paranormal things happen, because not everything that's paranormal is supernatural, right? It could be just something that we don't understand yet that could be explainable by science. But I think true paranormal things are in reality should be called supernatural because they exist outside of our natural world. Like we could see the evidence of them interacting with us through, across whatever barrier, but in reality, like we'll never be able to see, access, or explain that source where those beings interact with us from. Does that make sense?
Yeah, there's a whole rabbit hole there, kind of too. If you'll grant me a moment on this,
Sure.
that's important because in the paranormal, I think one of the things we get stuck with is that we think, or it seems to be a commonality in belief that metaphysical means like crystals and incense and sage and candles, and it doesn't. That's not, those have practical application, but metaphysics literally means that which stands behind the physics.
Right.
Science tells us what nature and reality does. It asks questions of nature through experimentation and has outcomes. It doesn't tell us what nature and reality is. That's metaphysics or metaphysical philosophy. So one of the things that's important is for us now is knowing one's metaphysical position, because if you don't know what it is, you're probably defaulting to materialism / physicalism.
Yep.
Which is what says that this stuff doesn't happen, which says this stuff can't happen. So if you've ever heard of the Sagan standard, it was Carl Sagan that said it. I think it came before him. I think it might have been Immanuel Kant might have said it first. That whole extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence of proof.
Yeah, so it's kind of like Occam's razor a little bit. It's like
right,
the simplest explanation is
right. But Occam's razor being simplest explanation, but the Sagan standard saying extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof or evidence is only true if by being termed extraordinary is because it doesn't fit into an ideology that says it can't happen.
Yeah,
so when we talk about what's natural, about what's natural, right? Like naturalism assumes physicalism. Right. That the natural world can explain things, but if it's anything supernatural or mysterious like that, it's not included in that.
Right.
Now, there's a subcategory, unfortunately, called metaphysical naturalism, which is to say that everything that happens is natural, that there is no paranormal or supernatural. It's natural and it's normal. Just because we can't detect it or sense it doesn't mean that it has a special category. We can sense through our dashboard of dials, through our instrumentation, that we have what is salient to survive. That's what we have. We're like born into a cockpit of a plane. We have dials and dashboard that measures things around us that we use to survive. Mm-hmm. But just like the pilot, if you black out the windows through reliable information through the instrumentation, he can navigate and fly the plane and land it no problem off of instruments because it's good information. Yep. That's what we get. But we know from infrasound and infrared that there's at least a great portion of what's outside of what our senses can tell us that does exist. Yeah, that stuff doesn't need a special explanation. It doesn't need an exceptional thing per the Sagan standard.
Right.
It's not in another dimension.
It's not in another dimension.
Yeah.
The thing is, we know that there's things outside of what we can detect. The difference between people and materialists who preach science into an ism, because science should be
they try to make neutral. Science. They try to make spirituality
and science and philosophy, right?
Yeah,
science should be metaphysically agnostic and neutral. The difference between us and the cockpit and the pilot is the pilot never mistakes the dashboard for the sky. We do. We think that everything we see, touch, taste, smell, and see is everything in the world in its totality, and that's naive.
Yeah, it is naive. Agreed.
So that's I think the groundwork for this.
I think, and a lot of people get trapped in this binary idea of paranormal or the
explainable,
the living world, and then the paranormal world, which is the world where all the traumatic death people exist, I guess,
or two separate places or two separate.
Most people won't even give the idea that maybe this thing that you're talking to in this house through this spirit box, maybe it ain't a little girl that you're talking to, or maybe it's not, or maybe it's not even the spirit of a person. It could be a demon. Demons biblically in every religion, they're known to be liars. They're the best liars, and that's kind of like where with the Sally House, right? And see, I know Tony Pickman, and I don't believe in that whole thing. Just I've done a lot of research. I don't believe the whole. I think it was a kind of a scam. But anyway, but if all that were real, then that ghost girl would not have been an actual girl. I have a hard time believing that small children are locked here on Earth, like their spirits are locked here on Earth. And it's not because I don't want to believe it, so I just refuse to. It's because I feel like they haven't had a chance to become so attached to life, to living, right? And thinking they know, the natural world so well, and that moving on past that would be terrifying to them. So they haven't developed that yet. But for us, we are attached to living. We're like, oh man, what's it gonna be like if I'm dead? It's just darkness. I'm not gonna be able to watch Seinfeld anymore.
Scared of
Shit.
the unknown.
But kids they don't have that, right? So I don't believe that children are locked here, just out of torment. Or I think that and I'm not saying 100% of the time, because I don't like to say that, because I always get proven wrong when I say this is the way it is. But I will say it's probably super rare, just because things will try to subvert your defenses, right? So if, like, let's say something demonic, I think a lot of the things we deal with are demonic, not demonic in the sense of Pazuzu. I hate, I'm going to possess somebody, and I hate Jesus, and mockery of the Trinity. I think a lot of the things we interact with are demonic in the sense that they are supernatural beings. They never were people. You can call them whatever you want. You call them, tricksters. You can call them.
The descriptive word doesn't really matter.
Right? Yeah, but they're beings that have always been here, and I think a lot of times we talk to them, and some of them want to play with us like toys. Some of us want to just murder us or see us off ourselves. But anyway, what do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about ITC as far as, like, it's a method to not only communicate with the spirits of people, but other things as well? And have you ever tried to do that?
So just to touch upon what you just said, so as idealists, we have a different perspective, and we respect everyone's perspective, because we don't know who's right, who's wrong. But as idealists, we believe that the things that we communicate are around us all the time. It's just that we don't have the tools to perceive them, just like the ultrasounds and the ultralight. So we believe that it's around us. We just don't have the tools to see it, because the tools that we have is just to survive in the world that we're in.
Yeah.
As far as the children, I don't think children or necessarily people are trapped, at least not in a physical body. We believe that if there's communication where there's a spirit or an entity that you're talking to, they're trapped mentally. Something that happened to them, and it doesn't even have to be tragic. It can be a happy memory or a tragic memory, but they're trapped mentally, not in a physical state.
I get that. Kind of like the movie What Dreams May Come. That's kind of what I think of sometimes. Have you guys ever read the book or watched that movie?
Yeah,
That's great. It's great. The book is fantastic. It goes explains so much. It kind of explains it the way the people who are trapped here, trapped in their own prison, living in whatever they consume them during their life that won't let them allow them to move forward.
Right. We've had this discussion before, and she brought that up to me, and I was like, that's really important. I think it was really, the way she phrased it was nicely put. So here's where, and I'll bring the discussion often back to metaphysics. So the main worldview, the iteration now, physicalism or materialism, is the reigning worldview, and it says that things are fundamentally physical. That's what exists. And then from that, other things are created. So your brain, which is squishy matter, creates your consciousness through neural firings and complex things and happening, and so that creates consciousness. That's physicalism. What she's putting forth and saying that we're coming from is called idealism. I'm in an ambassadorship under Dr. Bernardo Kastrup, who calls his version of it analytic idealism, which says that reality is fundamentally mental, and that physicality, which is in league with quantum field theory for at least 50 years, physicality is a result of observation and measurement. Things don't have physical parameters until you observe/measure them.
Yeah.
So under idealism, what we perceive as physical is just represented to us, again, on our dashboard of dials as physical, but it's not fundamentally physical. Why is that important to what she just said? Because there's a commonly held belief in the paranormal about spirits being trapped or stuck at a location. Now, if you assume a dualist perspective and say that there's mind stuff and matter stuff, there's physical and mental stuff, and then you're saying that this spirit can walk through walls because there used to be a hallway there that's not there anymore, and they're not bound to space-time as we are, but then somehow a condominium built in 1978 has got them stuck there because of the plaster, or I mean, right? So it becomes a contradiction. If you go with what she explained, that not only is the being fundamentally mental, but the physical location is also fundamentally mental processes, but perceived by our senses as physical. Then you have mental stuff mixing with mental stuff. Do we see that every day? Every day, our thoughts and emotions will intermingle. So now you don't have a contradiction with it. That's the problem with physicalism, that says that there are two separate incommensurable things. Well, that's really more of a dualist thing, right? This is more Cartesian from Descartes' mind and matter thing, saying that these are two separate incommensurable things that all explain reality, mental stuff and matter, mind and matter. But then it's an internal contradiction, because then it tries to explain mind in terms of matter by saying that the matter in your head is creating the mind, is creating consciousness. That's a contradiction.
Yes. Yeah. It's a paradox. Yeah.
So what takes down physicalism as a solid worldview was put forth in, I think, the 70s by a philosopher from Australia named David Chalmers, which is known as the hard problem of consciousness, which basically says that there's no way to deduce, at least in principle, the qualities of experience, the taste of chocolate, the smell of a strawberry, the touch of a flower. Those are all qualia or qualitative states. There's no way to deduce, at least in principle, the qualities of experience from any physical arrangements, which includes squishy brain matter. No one's ever been able to explain that. So that metaphysical position falls apart.
And emotions.
Right. So now, from there, any theory of anything to do with dimensions or paranormal or anything, if through extrapolation and expounding on the idea and then seeing it through and then being continuous with it, being consistent with it across the boards and applying it everywhere it would need to apply if you're going to invoke it, if it steps back into physicalism, boom, then that to me is a chink in the armor of whatever the theory is. If it needs to fall back on physicalism, then the theory is looking at a problem that we really, in the hard problem of consciousness, is an insoluble problem. It's not a problem to be solved. It's meant to say,
well, that's
looking at something we can't figure out. We need to step back.
Yeah, well, I think we don't have to step back. You could try all you'd like, as far as discovering the source of consciousness, conscious, or let's say trying to break that code to breach that barrier between the natural and the supernatural. I believe I believe in a creator. I believe in intelligent design, and I believe that whatever made us, right? Let's say it wasn't God. Let's say it was some entity. Whatever it is, it would be God, first of all. But I feel like God, is more. Well, there's lots of different views of it. You have the Gnostics, and you have the archon. There's the archons and the demiurge, and there's so many different takes on it. And I believe I like a little bit of the demiurge idea. There's parts of it that kind of make sense to me, but at the end of the day, I think that's part of the fail safe. There's a fail safe built into physics in the world that we operate in, the world of the real, the whatever we want to call it, if you want to consider it the world of the real. That there's baked in, there's a barrier, like a firewall, right? Either that or we are the abnormality. We're the abnormality in a fishbowl existing inside of some other
an aquarium of somebody.
we're in the aquarium where our physics, the things that hold our universe together, have been created by another something else, which is kind of like the I forget what you call it, but
simulation theory.
Simulation theory, right? But it's different than just a simulation. It's like it's kind of like the bubble
universe.
The bubble universe is kind of popping.
Holographic universe.
Well, holographic universe is a little bit different, but the bubble universe is like we're like bubbles, popping into existence and then popping out of existence right next to each other, and the bubbles create the other bubbles popping in and out of existence. It's kind of crazy, but I believe there's a barrier. So to sum it all up, there's a barrier there that we're not supposed to fully understand, but we are able to detect when other things cross that barrier and interact with us. That's why I believe EMF detectors work, right? Well, I mean, that's we pick up voices in the radio waves because I think there's something inherent about the way these supernatural beings speak. It's not like they're moving air with their voice box, right?
Right.
And then we're picking it up and hearing it with our eardrums, right? The vibrations. So there's something inherent about the way they speak that creates a byproduct of a radio wave sometimes, and that's what we're picking up on. We're picking up on like just bits and pieces of the full things that they're saying. I believe sometimes,
I mean,
in some cases, not all cases.
I think we're describing a lot of the things. It's the same thing, and we're just using descriptive words.
Yeah,
for us, like the barrier, the firewall. Well, for me, I take that's us. We're the firewall, we're the barrier, and these things exist around us. And every we get the little bits and pieces. Every once in a while, we'll get those bits and pieces. And depending on where your mental state is and how porous you are, you'll be able to receive some more sometimes than other times.
Yep. And some people are guided, to and expected to learn more. Like you guys, I believe. I think it's a calling for y'all to do this work. I believe it's a calling for Austin to do the work. People who are passionate about it and not in it for the money.
That's the key.
Yeah,
because I think that's humanity's purpose. But there are some of us that just go through the journey.
Well, they want
to do the work. For others, they're just not really thinking about it, or they don't want to whatever. But then,
I think we kind of afford them that luxury to not have to worry about it.
Right.
We do the boots on the ground. We do the hard work. And
And as far as the demons and the angels, I think it's the same thing, because it's just the descriptive words. Because you can, being Catholic, I can say we're talking to angels and demons, but to me, I think the foundation of that is really more like evil and good, and you need a word to describe it. So some people will call it demons, some people will call it jinn.
Right. Historically, like with King James, he would back then he would say it was daemon or whatever.
Yeah,
and that wasn't necessarily referencing evil demons. That was just referencing angelic or supernatural beings, right? Was
We can talk about that.
yeah,
About the
In metaphysical philosophy and idealism, there's something called a daimon, the daimon, and the daimonic is a semi-autonomous entity. If it's the impersonal working through you, so you'll feel its thought, its feeling, you'll think its thoughts. But if you've ever had that where it doesn't feel right, but you kind of feel like I need to do it anyway, or you don't know why you're feeling a certain thing, that could be
the diamond.
That could be the diamond.
Or an inspiration.
Sure.
It's like the good and the evil
are
in
like
your shoulder.
muses. They're muses. They influence, and they historically they have influenced civilization, human, prosperity and everything. And other that's even hell. We could even go back and talk about the sons of God and the Anunnaki, and then all that, right? Because that's kind of where that's when all that started, right? The angels came down to earth. They weren't kicked out of heaven. They just came down and they were like, "Hey, these earth girls are kind of smoking hot." And
coming down.
but also humans realized that. So back then, those angels they had specialties and intelligence, and I think there's the Ars Goetia, I believe that is the book that tells you what their specialties were, what their they were kind of like Catholic saints, right? It was a very similar thing. They had all the knowledge of one had all the knowledge of growing of the harvest or whatever. And so supposedly in exchange for our the knowledge from them, like we created the Anunnaki, and that's kind of crazy to me. So I think a lot of times we're talking to things that are timeless through ITC. I swear to God, I got
in our view, it's all the time. We believe that's all the time. It's timeless.
Well, I have spoken to spirits that I feel like were fresh. I hate that sounds kind of a cold way, like fresh spirits. It just died,
Well, that's certainly possible. So that's the other thing that we have a different view. First, like under analytic idealism for us, we approach anytime we try to figure something out or hypothesize or theorize with skeptical parsimony, meaning the fewest Occam's razor-ish, right? The fewest theoretical entities necessary to explain something without inventing things that we could use, but that are not empirically grounded in anything.
Like like a series, like a season of the Supernatural show.
Yes.
Where it's like, oh, you see that symbol? Yeah. That's definitely this kind of demon.
Right.
We have a special like documented way to handle this. We're gonna,
right.
Yeah, and we don't see time as something fundamental. Time is not something out there where things happen. It's not an objective thing out there within which things happen, because it's reducible. Right? For time and space can't be the fabric of reality upon which everything else rests like a scaffolding, because time and space are both what? They're experiential.
That's just in our just inside our fishbowl, man. And the fishbowl
it's our tool,
filing system.
Right.
It's a filing system for us. So it can't be, because in order to experience time and space are experiential. So in order to experience something, you have to be what? Conscious. So for us, as they deal with consciousness has primacy. Consciousness is the irreducible, what you would call reduction floor, right? The reduction level of explaining what reality is. Under idealism, it would be consciousness. Theoretically, if anything exists outside of consciousness, it might as well not exist, because for us, it's unknowable. We know everything directly or indirectly through consciousness, which is the problem with trying to solve a source of where consciousness comes from. Because if something creates consciousness, how would we have access to it? Because we're employing the tool to investigate the very thing we're using. That's like putting a scale on top of a scale to weigh it.
It's like, see, the thing is that when we're great with looking outside the box and experimenting. Absolutely. But when we come to explain but when we explain things of what we believe is happening, we try to stay as closest to what is known and not go outside of it.
No, I
Do we
go
try to
bad shit
experiment outside
crazy.
of it?
I'll
Sure.
throw some weird shit out there. I get ape
But
shit.
well, you're a mad
I'll be
scientist.
like,
You
yeah, well,
experiment.
that's true.
right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
And you
right.
should. That's what I'm
Well,
saying. You should do that. But when you're explaining
I
it,
just had so much weird shit, and it's like,
yeah.
okay, and I definitely believe there's not just one form of like one other dimension where all this paranormal shit exists, and that's what we interact with. Okay, let's take for example, let's say the Spearcom experiment video was real, right?
Okay.
Let's say it was all real. All right. So if that's the case, did you get the impression that, and even from Meek's writings and stuff outside of the video, have you guys got the impression about that whole situation that it seems like they're implying that like Mueller was using some sort of device himself to communicate with us also? Because it seemed to me like it was two dudes trying to talk to each other over ham radio 6,000 miles away.
Oh,
The thing with me is like
That was the impression that I got.
it's only because of what we do, and I noticed that sometimes the voices sound a little electronic, sometimes not. We get all different types of voices, and
Well,
those voices always seem
but it's
the
not
same.
necessarily the
And I don't
sound of
know.
the voice. It's the content of the conversation that they had, right? It's not even the, because I have a thing that I made. I call it the RoboBox, right? Yes, I love it. It's nuts. It's probably the closest thing there is currently to a something that sounds like the Spearcom.
right.
So you have that same voice all the time, like that electronic voice. It doesn't have variations.
The pitch will change.
But see, that's what I mean. In his, when I saw it seemed like the pitch was always the same. It never really
It did.
deviated from it.
It did.
And I don't know. I do find that a little suspicious. I don't know if
think
it
we
was
find
fake
that
or not. But
suspicious now because we're used to like you probably think similar to me. I think that things they're taking a lot of times that, well, there's different ways they communicate through radio, right? It could be taking the sounds that are coming through the radio if they have this. And I think those are very strong beings that are able to influence things that like that. You know what I mean? If you are some supernatural being and you're so powerful that you can take just sounds and turn them around. Oh yeah.
that's cool.
Anyway.
It's cool. I like it. It looks nice too.
That is cool. Yeah, I mean the voice is being modulated by electronics, so the fact that it sounds electronic to me is not alarming.
No, but I it just never deviates. I get it. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little.
I don't know how much of it you watched either.
No, I remember watching a lot of it. Yeah.
Okay, so that in itself, that for me, that says to me that if there's a being that's coming through a spirit box, right, that I'm communicating with, did I say something about 7? The time is something. Time.
Ooh,
it's all relevant. That's what it said. It's irrelevant.
But you see, even the tone, it varies. Theirs always seem very monotone, and I don't know.
It sounded like an electronic larynx, is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had like 14 different oscillators, right, with the whole spectrum of the male vocal range.
That's the way they explained it, right? Like if you look at their schematics and you read their instructions on how they built it, that's what they say. Now I have sourced the equipment that that I can see in the video, right? I've researched and I've found the actual all those pieces of equipment on like eBay and everywhere else, right? So you can get he's using off the shelf equipment. Some of the things are modified that he's added to them though, like the copper coil chamber, I think, where but that's where the transmitter and receiver sit inside of, right? And there's this copper coil, like I think like a disc around it or, of some sort. But like what the hell ever happened to that shit, man? Why don't we have that shit? When I kick the bucket, somebody can still come to Katie and say, "Hey, like no, nobody will remember who I am, but if they did, somebody will come to Katie. Somebody could come to Katie and be like,
we'll remember.
Yeah,
We'll remember.
We'll remember who you are. Yeah, and I think the guy in the other box above us is the guy who's going to come take everything right there.
But I just don't. I don't see myself ever being like people like seeking out my story and all this. But if they were to, like, it wouldn't be hard to see what I was doing because I'm sure between my wife and Austin, they're gonna take care of all my crap. They'll have it and probably fight over who gets what.
Oh, I'm about to go. We're about to throw hands, me and Katie. And some of that stuff, man. I'm telling you.
But like there's just no evidence of this. And the golden phone, like what's up with the golden phone? That's a crazy ass story that I think we should all make a TV show.
I want
Not a TV show, but like a series we could put on YouTube or something, where we're trying to track down all the devices that they used in these metaphysical institute experiments that were documented and but like I don't know, man, it just seems like there should be more here for us to put our hands on.
Well, Bill O'Neill went nuts, didn't he?
Yeah,
he lost his mind.
That was the story, that Bill O'Neill came undone.
Yeah,
and then wasn't he institutionalized or something?
Well,
I was unaware of that.
No, I did hear that. I heard something about that actually. I don't know if he was like, if he came completely undone or not, but I think he did have some like mental health treatment situation. But that's very common in paranormal researchers.
It is.
And you could say it's causational or it's correlation. Causation is not always but like
that's true.
No, that's true.
It definitely seems to line up a lot of times, right?
We draw in the crazies. That's the problem.
Yeah,
everything comes from the
not because they're crazy, but the shit that happens that you realize
it gets your mind going, and it can get you a little crazy. It's true.
It's true. You have create these like existential, paradoxes in your brain, right? And you find yourself, you find yourself just like thinking, man, I've believed this for so long, and now this is leading me to believe something else, or you're struggling, or you're being like, as a Christian, there are demons that are out there who would wish harm upon, especially Christians. You get oppressed. There's oppression. There's I don't think demonic possession in the classical sense, the Catholic sense, happens as much as some people would claim, but I do believe it happens.
Yeah.
But anyway, what do you guys think about that?
I think one of the things we get plagued with in this field is having to vet the authenticity of an experience. To misconstrue an experience is not to say that one doesn't have it, for one. For two, when somebody says, well, it's not real, it was a hallucination. Well, the experience of a hallucination is still an experience. Is reality. So by saying that, you're belying the very point you're trying to make.
Yeah.
And here's the importance of a metaphysical position.
And what is truth? What is truth?
Right.
Truth is
it's arbitrary.
Right.
It's not objective. Consensus truth is a red herring.
Truth varies depending on the observer.
That's right.
And that's right. An objective consensus.
Now there are objective truths, like a thing happened, right? But the entire details around that thing that happened, that's the objective. That's the non-objective part.
But if you take it like in police officer and taking witness testimony, they'll see the same person, but they'll describe that person in different ways. But it's the details are still correct. It's just that this person noticed this part of it, and the other one no. That doesn't mean that it's not true. They're both true.
Right. Yeah. I think the idea of objectivity comes from a collection of subjectivities that align. Because everything we experience is subjective. Even through instrumentation, everything we take in is subjective. We can't have you and I can't feel my hunger.
It's like two people have to validate each other to make a thing an objective truth. So
right. So it's an aggregation of subjectivities that creates an objective truth. So fundamentally, on an ontological level, there's no
there are objective instances. As far as the truth, like the word truth is like what happened, right? Not that this bottle's sitting here. It's more like how that bottle got put there.
Right. So truth isn't so much. Truth isn't so much how happened. Truth is how much is the validity or the credibility of something happening or not too.
It's like evidence isn't proof, and proof isn't evidence. There's very similar type of situation.
There's a story where there was an investigator who was trying to learn what certain scientists took atomic theory to be, and so they asked a physicist and a chemist whether a single atom of helium was or was not a molecule. Both scientists, both PhDs. The chemists saw the atom of helium as a molecule because it behaved like one with respect to kinetic theory of gases.
Yeah.
The physicist determined that it was not a molecule because it displayed no molecular spectrum, which is a patterning in which that it absorbs and interacts with light.
Yeah, that's how we use a
right. So there's two scientists rendering an opinion about the same thing who had two completely different perspectives. We cannot observe and perceive anything without narrative. Myth and narrative is part of everything that we take in. That is where divergences come from.
Yeah, we are like narrative driven like animals.
100%.
That's what we are. We're narrative driven. Like we need purpose. We need purpose. We need to know. We need kind of like
as much as I love this conversation, I have to jump off. We are past the hour, and I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, dude, it's been great talking to y'all. We definitely got to do this again.
Oh yes, this was an honor for us.
Oh, it was an honor for me too. 100%. The honor is over here. I appreciate you guys coming on and taking the time out of your busy day, and I'm sure you guys got stuff you're doing. And so anything you want to plug? Like you got some
and I leave it up to you. I forget what we're doing.
Well, I mean, everything for the most part bounces off of our website.
Oh yeah, do that.
Which is GonyacParanormal.com. GONYAC Paranormal, GonyacParanormal.com. I put out a 10-video course on metaphysics and paranormality. That's there's a link to that. I made it free for a period of time on a private YouTube list. I have 5 books on Amazon. There's a link to that also on the website. We have a calendar of upcoming events. That's there.
New Orleans Paracon. If anybody's interested, you can make it into a vacation. We're doing that.
I was going to go down there.
End of July.
My buddy Brandon will be down there.
Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
If you could come down, we would love to.
That'd be cool.
We'd love to hang.
I can't. I would. Yeah, I got the KC Paracon here in August 1st, and then
same time.
I got a 9-to-5 job, man. I have to work.
I hear you.
Yeah, I used to not, but I enjoy it. But anyway, is that all you guys got? You got like so that's your shows you're gonna be at. Well, but what if I were to invite you guys to come out to like a event? Would you do that if I gave you plenty of notice?
Of course, we would love to. Are you kidding me?
We would do everything we could to make it. Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic.
We are amazed with the stuff that you do. Yes, we love you too.
I'll see you guys. I'll see you and Ron in June. So coming up soon. KD, I love you too, buddy. I'm jumping off here. Good night, guys.
Good night,
Austin Menard.
Austin Menard.
Say hi to your other half. Oh, well, he got him.
Yeah.
But we will be honored to do something.
Yeah, we'd be honored.
We love the work that you do.
Yeah, the work you do is phenomenal.
I'm excited, you know, just to hearing you guys talk about, you know, all the beliefs you have and the work you've done and the work that you are very well versed in that other people have done. I would love to show you some of my more like bigger experiment type stuff. You know, that unfortunately never makes it on a TV show. Whenever I am on a TV show, I'll spend all day setting a crazy, like using sacred geometry and copper wire and lasers and you name it. It's a big production, right? And never gets shown on the TV show, but I would like for you guys to see some of that. I try to use a lot of that old school. I go back and I visit the old school, the fathers of the early ITC.
I think that's where the answers are. Some of the answers you mix the old school with the new stuff, and you mix it somewhere in there.
I feel like they wanted to do so much more with it at the time, but their technology wasn't there yet. And
that's it.
Now we can do that, and you know, So. But man, you guys have been awesome, and I love talking to y'all. And you guys have a great outlook on everything. So, again, thank you for coming on tonight. And Ron and Lords, y'all are cool, and I can't wait to have y'all back.
Yeah,
Thank
for sure.
Likewise to you. We had a great time.
Let's keep in touch and talk more too.
Definitely,
I think,
man. Definitely. I never get on Facebook. I'll just have Austin give you I'll have him text you my cell phone number.
All right.
And y'all can just call me or text me.
Yeah. Anything we can do to support or help get stuff out there or help you move items or whatever. Anything we can do, you have our support.
Sure. Yeah. That's awesome, man. And yeah, I'd love to have people like y'all use some of my equipment. So yeah. All right.
That would be cool.
Thank you so much.
Well, thanks everybody who watched, and this has been one of the best shows it's been one of the best shows we've ever had. Just ask anybody; they'll tell you.
And he's funny
bad.
too.
Not bad.
And he's funny too.
I try.
Not bad.
So this has been the Generic Paranormal Show with your host KD and our old man host Austin, it was past his bedtime, so he's not here. And Ron and Lords, Ron Iacovetti and Lords Gonzalez, great guests, and we'll have them back on. And everybody have a good night, and remember, stay spooky, my friends.